It's the Oilers' home opener as tonight they host the St. Louis Blues. And we say hello from the broadcast booth. I'm John Kelly. Of course, there is Darren Robert Pang. There's going to be a lot of energy in this building tonight, Panger.
Yeah, there is. I mean, the home openers are special. It's special for a lot of reasons here in Edmonton with a new general manager and a new coach in Todd McClellan. And obviously, Connor McDavid. There are so many McDavid sweaters that are in the stands here for this game.
Well, how about young Colton Parayko? Of course, he grew up in nearby St. Albert, Alberta, which is a suburb of Edmonton, and he's coming off a 2-goal effort the other night.
I asked him before the game how long it took him to come here, and he said it's about a 22-minute ride. And I said, do you remember the first time you came here? And he goes, no, I've been here so many times and coming to see NHLers play, and obviously a big night in front of at least 6 family members and another probably 15 friends and good friends that he played minor hockey with here along the way that are here to celebrate his first NHL game. Here's his first NHL goal. Doesn't seem like much, but you talk about high patience and intelligence. Joel Farnsworth got his first NHL puck, but he wasn't done yet because of the injury to Shattenkirk. He gets a little bit more ice time. Played almost 19 minutes, and he rifles that one. Now, make no mistake, Parayko can fire the puck. He has got a Shea Weber-like heavy shot. Both those shots are real smart, hard snapshots that found their way through the net. And boy, is that nice to look at.
Some of the other Blues newcomers have been very impressive, including Scotty Upshall and Troy Brouwer.
Scotty Upshall came into the last game at a much-needed time. You never like to see anybody go down with an injury, but that's what Doug Armstrong has done. He's brought in NHL depth, and there's no uncertainty when Upshall gets in. He's played 554 NHL games. He did a wonderful job, especially the energy that he added in the first period. Team in the NHL, they want. You want to add a player that can make the puzzle work? You add a Troy Brouwer. He's going to be perfect here for the Blues.
We mentioned this is the Oilers' home opener. They began with losses in St. Louis, Nashville, and Dallas. Although the other night in Dallas, Connor McDavid had his first NHL goal.
Yeah, he had a couple of really good chances in the opener against the St. Louis Blues, and it'll probably help him that this is the second time that he's seen players, like centermen like Stastny and like David Backes and like Yuri Laterra and the defensive tandem of Petrangelo. But in this game against Dallas,
Is brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Center with 40 convenient locations. You're in, up, fixed out the same day. Visit your local Mid-America Chevrolet dealers for great prices on all our 2015 and 2016 vehicles today. And every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. Blues getting set to take on the Edmonton Oilers in Edmonton. And Bernie, we talked about this during the pregame show. A little bit of a shuffle with Shattenkirk out on the Blues defensive pairing here tonight.
Yeah, let's hope that Shattenkirk is just a minor injury that's going to be back real soon. But they did recall Butler from Chicago, which tells me that he probably not going to be ready tomorrow. So this is probably, just precautionary anyway. But yes, Parayko moves up with Gunnarsson again, and Robert Bertuzzi are very, very, ready and willing to jump in the lineup. So I don't think this really changes an awful lot, other than the fact that Shattenkirk will be missed because of the great offense that he provides. But we're seeing a lot of great offense from Parayko in the last game. So hopefully he'll continue to have that happen, especially when he's at home in front of his parents. A lot of friends there back in the hometown, so it'd be nice for him to continue the role, maybe score another goal or two tonight.
There's no question youth shall be served in this game. When you think about Parayko, Edmondson, who made a great save in the last game and has played well, and as well as Bertuzzi, who didn't see a lot of time because of injury that he was dealing with during training camp.
Yeah, you know what, again, the depth of this organization, the depth of the defense, and we know we got Lindholm back in Chicago too as well, so the young kids are big. They're happy to be playing out there. They're excited, and anytime you go to Western Canada, for both Edmondson and for Parayko, they're from Western Canada. They're excited to be back, and especially playing in that building. That building's got a lot of history. Edmonton Oilers winning all their Stanley Cups, the great Wayne Gretzky. So that was one of maybe the greatest teams that was ever put together in the National Hockey League history. So a lot of those guys watched them. They were big fans of the Edmonton Oilers. So I think it's always very exciting to go back to Edmonton to play, especially when you know that this is the last year of that building.
Speaking of which, it is the last year, and I didn't know Darren Pang's first game was in Edmonton, but you in your early years played at Rexall Place.
Yeah, that building was opened in 1974 for the World Hockey. In fact, the Oilers are going to be wearing the World Hockey uniforms tonight, the bright orange. That was the original uniforms that the World Hockey used with the Edmonton Oilers. But no, I played a game in there at the end of my junior in 1975, late 75. We played against the Russian touring army team. It was the Western Hockey League All-Star team that we played, and we were the only team that they went across Canada. We were the only team that actually beat them. They played a lot against some pro teams as well, so it was very, very exciting to be in that building. That was the big building for all of us. I mean, we all played in little buildings in Western Canada. We got to play, all our buildings were about 3,000, and then to go to play in a building that holds 17,000 was pretty special. But all the great teams, all the great Stanley Cups, the atmosphere in there is always really, really exciting. And, that building's going to be sorely missed, but you know what? It's 40 years old now. It's time for them to move on, and I think it's going to be great. The new building is going to be right downtown Edmonton. I think it's just going to be absolutely wonderful. It's a great hockey city, and they obviously are very excited about, shutting the building down in style this year, so we'll have to see how the Oilers do this year.
And I know you guys have always mentioned that's one of the best ice surfaces in all the NHL.
Yeah, it is, and we'll see how quick the ice is tonight.
All right, let's go to Rexall Place and get ready for the drop of the puck of this one between the Blues and the Oilers as we send it to John Kelly and Darren Pang, guys.
Gentlemen, as the Blues play in Edmonton, it is their home opener. And tonight's top starting goaltenders, Brian Elliott, is back in goal. He's won 5 in a row against the Oilers, including a 3-1 opening night victory, stopping 23 of 24. Cam Talbot has played very well this year. Losses in St. Louis and Nashville, and allowed a couple of goals in each game. And, of course, Ken Hitchcock grew up here in Edmonton, always loves to come back here. And Todd McClellan, after spending 7 years in San Jose, and you can see already that the Oilers are a much more disciplined team under McClellan.
Well, already you're seeing the influence of what kind of player that he likes. He's got Paul Hendricks, basically a fourth-line grinder, but a real responsible player up on the top line with Hall and Nugent Hopkins. McDavid is not playing with Hall for this game.
So it is Hall, Hendricks, and Nugent Hopkins against Stasny, Steen, and Tarasenko. And underway here at Edmonton. Taylor Hall, a shot. That's wide by a couple of feet. And now Steen trying to clear it away, kicks one to center. Then Bomeister, the Edmonton native, on defense with Petrangelo. And the Blues wind up in their own zone.
Yeah, and as this game goes along, if you're into matchups, you'll see that Bomeister and Petrangelo quickly go for a change because the Blues coaching staff, they want that tandem up against the McDavid line, which is Yakupov and Pouliot.
Now Steen a pass, but the Blues are changing, and no one was home on left point, and now Yuri Laterra. He flies back in his own zone. And then Gunnarsson for Parayko. Here's Gunnarsson again. Up the middle off Laterra's stick. Oilers break it up. Gunnarsson and Parayko did not play at all in preseason. As a matter of fact, they were on opposite clubs in in the preseason drill. So this is really a first for those two paired together tonight.
Ooh, Broward just got toppled over there in the neutral zone and landed on it. That's what his head it looked like, but no calling the play.
Now it's Connor McDavid, a shot. And that was just off the mark as he flew it in left wing.
Boy, and then he finishes his check there on Jaden Schwartz on the far side. A nice applause from the crowd and a good first shift for McDavid.
Now the puck to center ice, grabbed by Anton Lander. One pass by Reinhardt. He's been a healthy scratch the last 2 games. Now picked up by number 16, Teddy Purcell. Off the boards, a shot, they score! Gorpikoski, and it's 1-0.
Well, the Blues continue to give up the first goal. This one here, off the end boards, a run battle, quick play, and Lewis Gorpikoski takes advantage. Edmonton just got on the ice. Gunnarsson tries to retreat, but he thinks he's got his man. Not really strong on that play. And Gorpikoski goes up the inside. He thinks he's whacking his stick, but he's actually whacking the ice. Gorpikoski gets figured out on that. There's that play on the end board.
This year. Gorpikoski had 6 goals in 69 games last year in Arizona. And another career high of 19 goals a few years ago in the Ducks. So a tough start to
Teddy Purcell just rifled it from the other side of the line and it was just tipped ever so slightly, but didn't lose any speed as it went in off the boards. But again, it's a one-on-one position right there where it's a turn, pivot, and get on the inside position as much as possible. And I'm sure from the reaction of Brian Elliott, he wasn't expecting Gorpikoski to get that much on him. But there's the turnover in the neutral zone. Here's Purcell right there. And he just gets it in. It could have been icing, but the linesman blew that off, knowing, I guess, seeing that he's just on the inside of the center ice line. And it was a lost battle, one-on-one battle there. It's won by Gorpikoski.
As they took the Plaza Tire Service scoring summary, Purcell gets the lone assist. Now Taylor Hall a drive and a save by Elliott. Oilers get it down low. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. As the Oilers use some crisscrossing in the corner. Matt Hendricks there. Back on the line, a shot by Klefbom. And that goes just wide. Blues trying to clear it away. Nugent-Hopkins battles. And now Tarasenko at the line. Tipped along by Steen. But that's broken up and thrown right back in by Nugent-Hopkins.
Well, the neutral zone play of the Edmonton Oilers has been stronger than the Blues so far.
Another turnover. And a shot by Hall. And a rebound is gobbled up by the Blues with Tara. And the Blues quickly to center. Here comes Steen. And he is hit from behind now to Tarasenko. Trying to get it away from McDavid. He does. And Vladdy Tarasenko hands it back to Laterra. Tarasenko, tough angle, a shot. That's high and wide and off the glass and back to center ice. And then the Oilers commanded that play is offside.
Alex Pietrangelo really got pushed hard off the puck, off the play after this is stopped. And Bogusser goes to play it around. And right there is a process from behind by Hendricks. And that creates another good scoring chance. But this is a different Edmonton Oilers club. We can talk about the like Connor McDavid, but it's a more tenacious club. They're playing the game where they're strong on their stick. They're not one and done, like a little bit of a pop gun push every once in a while. These guys are playing hard hockey. The Blues have got to get themselves prepared rather quickly or they're going to be chasing the game.
Well, they're already chasing it. It's 1-0. The Blues have been outshot 5-0. As Laterra darts in. Now Schwartz wide open. Grower shot. Rebound. They score. Laterra immediate mid-air. And the Blues come down the ice and tie the game at 1.
That is just brilliant stuff right there. What a way to counter. And you know what? This line needed that as well. I talked to James Gordon before the game and he said he's got to get to the middle of the ice a little bit more like he did last year. But this is just absolutely tremendous chemistry. Look at that play. Two ways to go towards Schwartz. That way he's able to give it over to Troy Brouwer after Laterra makes a perfect pass. But with the two Oiler defensemen going over to Schwartz, Schwartz does make a real nifty little pass there to get it over to Brouwer on his right.
So we're tied at 1. Here's Alexander Steen on the cycle. And now Stasny. And that puck rolls on him, and it comes to center ice. And back in here, and I was about to say that the Blues have allowed 5 shots on goal. And so far in the first 3 games, Mr. Pang, they have not allowed many even strength shots against.
No, they haven't. They've done an excellent job of that so far. They've only allowed 13.6 even strength shots against per game. It's a pretty good number. And obviously 4 straight power plays for the Calgary Flames in that last game gave especially the skill players of Calgary a lot of momentum early on. But the Blues were able to hang in there and get a real good gritty win there in Calgary.
As Hall banks it off the glass, here's Hendricks into Nugent Hopkins, and then a shot goes just wide by Schultz. And that was a dangerous rush. Now the Oilers attack again. Nugent Hopkins to the line. Tarasenko hooks it back to center, too far for Steen, and now he goes off on a line change. Oilers pour back in the zone. It is Matt Hendricks for Hall. And the Blues on the back check break it up. Good job by Upshaw. And now kicked along by Pietrangelo. And he deals the puck in behind the Edmonton goal. Talbot sends it around the boards. That's cut off by Upshaw. Upshaw had 6 shots and a goal the other night in Calgary. And now a pass in front for Upshaw. Lost it, now he gets it. Another shot, Talbot the save. Now Backus to Upshaw. Quickly back to Pietrangelo. Little head fake. And then he moves in. Pass in front to Yashkin. And he can't get his redirection on goal. And the Blues dangerous here. And now Dmitry Yashkin on the cycle. Trying to get away from Anton Lander. And it goes back to the goal again. Here's Pietrangelo racing in. He gets it. In front to Upshaw, a shot. And that was blocked at the defense. Sustained pressure of the period for the Blues.
Just an outstanding shift by Alex Pietrangelo. Just absolutely outstanding. Little shake and bake inside the blue line. Follows that up with a good pass. Gets to the far corner on the opposite side of the offensive zone. Gets the puck there and makes another good play to Upshaw.
And now it is sailed high to center by Pietrangelo. And now grabbed by Kyle Brodziak. Sends it back on the goal. And the former Ranger goalie, Cam Talbot, plays one on the wing. That's tipped down the ice. No icing here. And Robert Bertuzzo retreats for the Blues. Here is Brodziak, the former Oiler, a one-time draft choice of this club. And then for Joel Edmondson. And he tries to work it up the boards, puts it on the glass. Reeves can't get it off his glove it out, and that stays in the zone. Edmondson now for Bertuzzo. Short pass, and then Brodziak right wide. Here comes Edmondson. And that pass tipped at the line, and the Oilers do break it up. And now taken by Benoit Pouliot, who is signed as a free agent.
That's where Edmondson's going to want to get that puck. Instead of laterally along the blue line, because he's a defenseman, to get that one deep. And just make the simple play in that one there. But he's got to have a little bit of nerves as well. Played in his first game right here in Edmonton.
The Blues healthy scratches today. There's Butler and Scott Gomez. As Gomez has yet to appear in a game for the Blues. Now it is Schwartz in there.
And again, we don't know how long Kevin Shattenkirk will be out. We just do know that it's not an injury from his previous surgery that he had last year late in the season.
Yeah, the abdominal surgery. Now it is Troy Brouwer circling back for Bolmeister. Shots 5-3 Oilers. 1-1 the score. Blues quickly to center ice. Stasny down his off wing. In the circle, a shot. Talbot a right pad save, and he lost the rebound, but fortunately for him, no Blues player was there.
That's a great play again by Stasny. He did it in the last game in Calgary, a little cutback move. Upshaw scored on the rebound, and that one there is a hard save for a goalie to make.
Now the Blues pop it up, and a shot by Nugent Hopkins right on, and it's saved by Elliott. And the puck up the wing, now grabbed by Stasny across to Gunnarsson. And he delays for Parayko. Blues are changing. Steam's pass goes to the Oilers. And now Lander will lob it in. It's Parayko back first to the Blues. Hard around the wing. Yashkin can't get it out. And here's the youngster Griffin Reinhart. He played against the Blues, but was a healthy scratch the last 2. Now taken by Upshaw. He gets it off the boards and out. But Darren, just like the game in Calgary the other night, a very good pace up and down.
It is, but this time spent in the blue zone wouldn't have happened. Parayko made the right play getting into the winger, which is Yashkin. I know it's hard to do, but the winger's job is to make sure that puck gets out of the zone, and instead it went back into the blue zone, and it caused about 40 seconds of the Blues reeling in there.
And the Blues have not had as many clean exits as they would like tonight. Now Edmonton a drive right on goal and a save by Talbot.
Good shot.
As he looks there for his first NHL goal. Now a race, and Edmonton gets there ahead of another rookie, Anton Slepyshev, who's out of Russia. And it goes back down the ice. Now Schultz for Klefbom. Klefbom was scored the other night in Dallas in that 4-2 loss. Blues break it up. And that's tossed in deep by Reeves. Klefbom there, odd all over him. He gives it up, and now Brodziak on the forecheck, but the Oilers get it. And the speedy Taylor Hall to center ice. Blues intercept, now Klefbom again. Working on Bomeister. To Schultz, a shot, and that's turned away by Elliott. And then the Oilers on the forecheck to Bomeister. Very calmly up now for Pietrangelo.
Yeah, good reverse by Bomeister. No panic whatsoever. I thought Bomeister played his best game in the game in Calgary so far this year.
And then Brodziak run off the puck by former Wisconsin Badger Justin Schultz. Blues trying to hold it in. Gunnarsson cannot. And he sends it back in his own zone. And now Parayko. Up the wing. Schwartz into Brouwer. Chips it back on the goal, Laterra, who has scored the Blues goal. Korpikoski has the Edmonton marker. Now Laterra has a man in front. It's Parayko, long shot, and that was tipped and it goes high. Swatted back of the goal for Brouwer. He's worked over by Sekera. And then Brouwer, another hit on Sekera. And a couple of players try to pry it free. Schwartz there for the Blues. And he maintains possession. And now down low to Pouliot. And bangs it off the glass to center ice. Under 10 to play here in the first period. Non-stop action.
Good play there by Schwartz. They're going through a line change. And a lot of times you see the Blues just dump that puck in, and you're basically giving it away. Play it back to the D if you can, and just regroup. That's what all the good teams do.
Now the Blues get it in there. Steen for Stastny, a drive. That goes wide, rebound in front. Steen banks it, and that goes back on goal. It's in the catching glove of Cam Talbot. The Blues after a short start and pick it up. And they tie the game, but it's goal by
Toyota, let's go places. These are our keys to the game. And then Bomeister and Pietrangelo on the back end going up against McDavid. Continued solid puck possession. And the one thing McDavid got out there on this one is young defenseman Colton Parayko pushed him to the outside. That was a good scoring chance. And then he finished off his hit right after that, kind of followed through with a little bit of speed. On the right side here, quickly there, Yuri Laterra, who's got a goal in this game. And Yuri Laterra is part of that puck possession game. He's so good at it. I mean, the Blues have now gotten back to that. We've got the puck, and we're going to be patient, but we're going to be strong. We're not going to just give it away. And Yuri Laterra is one of the best in the league at that.
Perhaps another key face-off. The Oilers are the worst face-off team in the league. The Blues are number 1. Here's Edmonton, a shot. That goes wide. It is Stastny, Steen, and Tarasenko. And now Schultz gets it back for Edmonton. And then whipped ahead for Taylor Hall. First overall pick in 2010. Although early on, the Oilers have won 6 of 9 face-offs. Now Schultz, a shot tipped by Hall. It got through, and a save by Elliott. And Nugent Hopkins wheels out high. And then Schultz again. That shot to the net. Hendricks tips it way high, and it goes out of play. Well, show your support of St. Louis Metro to host the IHF World Championship 2018 by visiting WJC and STL.com. See how you can help showcase the best of St. Louis. Great prizes at the same time. You mentioned it the other night. Chris Zimmerman and the Blues have done a great job of presenting St. Louis as a great option for the upcoming World Juniors, and they're one of 3 finalists. It'd be great to get the tournament.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. You'd see, the future of the game. The next Connor McDavid. Maybe you see that. When you look at a guy like Matthew Tkachuk as an example, that's going to be representing the USA in IIHF examples. His brother Brady as well. They got a lot of St. Louis families, great young players. So the Blues organization doing a phenomenal job. This high tip is something that Todd McClellan has really worked hard at. In both practices that he's had that we've seen, it's been high tip, shot to the point, change of direction in the high slot. Everybody's gone towards that high Sedin type tip, and it's a dangerous one. And if it's timed perfectly, boy, does it ever wreak havoc on the goaltender.
There's a face-off control by the Blues. Now Petrangelo for Brouwer. And then jammed ahead by Jaden Schwartz.
See Mark Fane, the defenseman there. Did he ever step up? Right at as soon as Schwartz got the puck, Fane was right there at the center ice, just chest to chest, making sure he didn't have any room.
Now it's whipped in by Sekera. The Slovakian. Someone has broken his hip behind the Blues goal. Now Schwartz can't move it up.
And again, the defenseman Fane, very aggressive on the pitch.
And it's kept in. And our pass or shot by Pouliot. That goes through the slot. Blues get it back, and now Laterra. Nice feed in for Upshaw. This pass to Petrangelo. And the Oilers break that up. And now back in deep, it's Dale Yakupov. Look out here in front of Upshaw was trying to steal it from Eric Reiba.
Well, that's the quickness that Upshaw has in the game, though. He's got some hockey sense and tenacity. He's almost single-handedly took away the breakout for Edmonton.
And now the Blues are led by Parayko. He'll float one behind the goal. Talbot puts it on the glass. And the Blues can't knock it down. And now it's worked on to center for Teddy Purcell. And his pass to the corner. Purcell came in a trade from Tampa Bay. Back is Tipson, and this goes back to center ice. The Oilers are one of 8 winless teams entering play tonight. There are also 7 unbeaten teams, so it's either feast or famine for half the league so far. Blues don't get it out. Upashev with it. He goes by that broken stick. It's going to be on Gunnarsson. And now Letestu. The Blues touch it.
Carl Gunnarsson goes to the penalty box. It's one-handed little hook in the hands. Here he follows his man. Lopez behind the net right there, and the referee off to the corner. You can see once that stick just gets up there, you want to turn it and pull through it a little bit with one hand on your stick. That by and large is going to be called whether it's the worst defense in the world or not. 2 hands on your stick in that position. Be firm. You can hack and whack with 2 hands on your stick and be firm and be aggressive. But once you lay one hand in there, they're going to call it.
Edmonton 1 of 9 in the power play. Blues have killed 7 of 10. They've allowed 1 power play goal in each of their first 3 games. Blues win the face-off, fire it down the ice. For the Oilers, it is Schultz, Nugent Hopkins, Hall, McDavid, and Pouliot. So 4 forwards here.
Even though Calgary went 1 for 4 in that first period, I mean, it could have been worse.
Well, Bolmeister has broken his stick here. He gets it from Oct now, his stick. Now Bolmeister with Oct's stick. They're both left shots, and he gets it off the boards and down.
It's like he's playing with a mini stick, though.
A finger-sized stick.
You're not going to use that very long. He's going to hurt his back.
Now it's Schultz. He wheels away from David Backes on this Oiler power play. Pouliot across now for Hall. Banks it to McDavid. Back for Nugent Hopkins. And then McDavid again pressured there by Edmonton, and the Blues clear it. Of course, the Oilers power play goal in Game 1 was a weird one as we get a whistle here.
Yeah, high stick.
Saturday, it's a full day of college football across the Fox network, highlighted by West Virginia trying to contain the high-octane offense of the second-ranked Baylor Bears on Fox. It's all Saturday on Fox and FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. The Oilers power play goal we mentioned, Nugent Hopkins, when Petrangelo banked it off his own man, and Nugent Hopkins got the goal. He is one of 4 players to score a goal since 12-13 with not a shot on goal, amazingly enough. A rather fluky stat. Now the Oilers get it to the corner. And that pass by Korpikoski was tipped away.
I think as this period's gone on, I think Brian Elliott has kind of regained his foundation and his balance. I think early on, things were happening rather quickly. This is an excellent save by Elliott. Really good save. It's not easy when it's that tight, that 13 inches around your pad, and they can squeeze in between your arm and your stick. He fought that off nicely, but I think early on, whether it was, the opening ceremony, there was a little bit of a smoke dust in here. I wondered if the vision early on was a little tough. We were downstairs. In the fog. We were downstairs when they were practicing, and it was like fire alarms were going to go off. It looks a lot clearer now, John Kelly.
The Oilers on this power play. 20 to go in Gunnarson's minor. Edmonton gets it near the line. Yakupov with it. Then across to Sekera. He winds up a drive. And a save by Elliott up high. And it goes to the corner, pounded down the ice by Bertuzzo. And that will just about do it.
A little different shot selection Elliott's facing in this power play as compared to the Calgary Flames power play, where it was tic-tac-toe, and it was pretty to watch if you're a Calgary Flames fan, but if you're a goalie, man, it makes you dizzy.
Goes at full strength, drop past Tarasenko. Hard wrist shot, fought off by Talbot. And now grabbed by Nugent Hopkins. He gets it by Schwartz. And then played by Elliott to the corner. But Taylor Hall is there.
Oh, nice play.
And the Blues work it all the way down the ice. Edmonton 2 shots on that power play. Now Gunnarsson for Tarasenko. Then Schultz on for Hall. He was paired with McDavid on opening night and out there right now with Connor McDavid, although they did not begin the night together. And now the puck to the corner. Pouliot grabs it. At the line, Reinhart holds it in. Now McDavid back of the goal. Worked over by big Colton Parayko. And the fine-looking rookie gets it onto center ice. Shovels it back to the Edmonton net.
He's got one more goal than Connor McDavid as far as rookies are concerned. As far as anybody's concerned.
He is third in defenseman scoring this year with a couple of goals. And now it comes around now for McDavid. His dad, by the way, Brian, is on hand again tonight. His mom and dad flew in from Toronto today. And now the Oilers center it, but Edmonton there as Yashkin knocked an Oiler player down. That was Yakupov, the Fangel, no call. And the Blues are offside. And now we have Upshaw involved on the far side with Reinhart.
Offside play is going to be whistled down.
And we get a break in the action with 2:43 to go. This is almost a home game for them. Yeah, but I think Bolton played tonight.
Yeah, but a 22-minute drive to get here from St. Albert, Alberta.
Which is also the home of former Oiler great Mark Messier. There's a rink named in his honor and a trail named in Messier's honor in St. Albert.
And the same rink, Jason, is Troy Murray as well. Stanley Cup winner with the Colorado Avalanche.
All-time Blackhawk. Now it is Lander. In on the forecheck against Upshaw, or rather Edmondson there. And the Blues swatted ahead. Good play by Backus.
Smart play.
On to Bertuzzo.
And again, Backus doesn't get a lot of credit on the offensive side of it. There he is, and yet another defensive zone face-off that he's got to do the grunt work down below and work it on the boards and get it out of the zone.
Now the Oilers up the ice. And Bullmeister hits the puck away from Connor McDavid. Now Laterra off the boards. Now Brouwer for Bullmeister.
See what's become automatic in the breakout this year that became inconsistent last year? As soon as the puck gets moving out of the blue zone, the weak side defenseman is up already. And that's the outlet. And it's working like it worked 2 years ago.
That's part of being more aggressive. Now McDavid ahead to Yakupov. And he puts it off the glass to the Blues line with 80 seconds left in this opening period.
And I think aggressive is right, but consistent is right. It's a reliable play where the winger that gets the puck or the player on the board, he knows that weak side defenseman is going and getting in there.
What did Ray Bennett tell us before the game? You want to be aggressive, but not so much that you have all kinds of accidents and wrecks along the way.
Yeah, reckless meaning you've got to manage the game with the right amount of risk. That's always was nice catching up with Ray Bennett.
Who's from nearby Red Deer.
That's right. He was just telling me about a burger place that's on the way to Red Deer. I was getting hungry. He was talking about it.
Yeah, Bernie's favorite spot, right? Oilers play it back in. Here's Gunnarsson.
And by the way, no pierogies here at the media meal room. I was a little disappointed. I guess we need to bring Bernie for them to make us pierogies.
Well, Edmonton long rink-wide feed. And Reeves will jam it in. As they count it down here, 20 to go in the opening period. Oilers almost fumbled the puck. Puck was in there, but now Talbot for Korpikoski. And off the boards and out. And a race, and Bertuzzo back there against Purcell. And a good job by Bertuzzo. Oilers keep on moving Lander to the line, and that's going to do it.
Oh, too bad. Reeves and Ott run a 2-on-1 break.
As the Oilers have a quick start, they get the goal from Korpikoski at 1:36. But less than 2 minutes later, Laterra ties it. And that's the way we finish the first period. In downtown Edmonton.
A much-needed move for the Edmonton Oilers franchise, but talk about team defense. That was a good play by Bertuzzo. Just had to step back. You want to be active offensively. This was a great shift from Alex Pietrangelo. Kept the play alive, not once, but twice in that situation. And again, Edmonton late in the period, step up. Don't let them clear Redmond. Easy advancing your zone. Make sure you take away the lines, and they will live with any odd man breaks and mistakes along the way. They want to play on their toes. That puts the onus on the forwards to be the third man back and make sure you're in a good spot. I like it that way, and I think that even though Edmonton out-hit the Blues in that first period, I thought as the period went along, the Blues sort of got used to that pace and the way Edmonton was playing.
Stastny wins the opening face-off. He is on with Tarasenko and Steen. For Edmonton, it is Hall, Nugent Hopkins, then Matt Hendricks. And the Blues shoot it down the ice.
So this line here that's on the ice for the St. Louis Blues, they aren't normally on the ice in defensive zone faceoffs, but when there's an icing call, you can't make a change if you're doing the game of hockey. But Tarasenko, Steen, and Stastny, they basically start almost every offensive zone faceoff. But now they've got it in the defensive zone. We'll see how it goes.
Stastny wins the draw a year ago. Stastny was the best face-off man in the NHL on the road.
Amazing numbers.
At 60%.
And does that ever help? Because when you're on the road, you've got to put your stick down first. Well, now in the NHL this year, it's kind of the Ron Francis, Steve Yzerman rule. But they have, in the defensive zone, you have to put your stick down first, no matter what.
Send it in deep. Jammed around by Mark Payne. Kept alive by Bomeister. And now grabbed there by Laterra. He has scored the Blues goal. And then Brouwer helps out. Laterra muscles his way back to the Oiler net. As Payne has him wrapped up.
Good release in there by Brouwer. You see, three forwards were down low, and Brouwer slid out to be the third man high.
And out comes Freddie Yakupov ahead to McDavid. And he comes in with his great speed. The 18-year-old in front, tipped by Pouliot, and that goes just wide, and now the Blues net comes free. Now Brouwer gets involved with an Oiler player.
Well, Yakupov was in the crease, and he was batting away, and that's what Troy Brouwer's all about. Get in there and push him out. After Connor McDavid had a pretty good rush right there, and that was tied towards the shoulders there of the goaltender Brian Elliott. There's the play. It's Yakupov driving hard to the net, and he keeps going, and you see that he extends his arms kind of in a cross-checking manner He wouldn't even have known that. All I know is our coach wanted us in the room. I made 50 saves. Our assistant coach, Wayne Thomas, said, well, wait a second, what star are you? And the young man that was pointed it out said, he's the first star. And Wayne Thomas said, who's the second star? And the young man said, Wayne Gretzky's the second star. Wayne Thomas said, go take a twirl around the ice. You'll never be first star, and Gretzky will be second star again. And it was a pretty neat moment for me.
Garrett, I mentioned I talked to Connor McDavid's dad, Brian, today. He said one time when Connor was 15 years old, his phone rang, and he didn't recognize the number. He answered it. It was Wayne Gretzky. Calling Connor McDavid at 15 to talk to him, to tell him about how to handle the pressure. I mean, this kid was a phenom when he was 10, and Wayne Gretzky called him at age 15.
That doesn't surprise me. It's a wonderful story. And it just, more stories like that need to be told about what Wayne Gretzky and the Gordie Howes and the Bobby Orrs, the legends of our game, the greatest of the greats, and what they do to pass it along. That's just paying it forward, isn't it? That's phenomenal stuff.
Another puck up the boards. That goes by Slippershev, but no icing here. And the rookie against Edmonton, a fellow rookie. Now, Letestu comes in there for the Oilers. But then David Backus finds Bertuzzo in this 1-1 game. In on the wing now for Upshaw. A shot, and that was off target by a couple of feet. And it caroms all the way down the ice. And Colton Parayko. And he dangles in front of his own goal. Great compliment the puck for a kid in his fourth NHL game. Here he comes. Now Parayko going wide. Tripped up, and both referees let it go.
That's amazing. That's one of those, that's a trip in any league.
I guess they ruled he tripped on the lines. I don't know.
I think they raised them this year.
Right. Now the Blues get the puck out with Oct. And he's run to the ditch on the far side by Nugent Hopkins. And Talbot sets it up now for Schultz. And Ryan Nugent Hopkins. That is dumped in by Matt Hendricks. And around the roulette wheel it goes. Steen back there for the Blues.
Good strong play there by Steen.
And he was tripped up by Hall, and that is called.
Both referees immediately put their arms up. So, number one, they likely heard it from the bench with a non-call on Parayko.
Yeah, they must have heard you, Panger.
But that's a legitimate call right there.
Yeah.
Both were trips. They missed one, they got the other one.
So the late penalty here. Elliott goes off. And he will dump it in. And now the Oilers touch it.
Here's the first play.
They're 2 for 7 on the year. The Oilers have killed all 9 power plays against in their first 3 games. They were 0 for 3 on opening night against Edmonton.
Yeah, they got Korpikoski and Letestu, 2 real good, solid veterans to lead their first penalty kill unit.
Now Steen for the captain Backus. He gets it back. Backus to the net, and he fans on it. Now Pietrangelo right in front, a shot from the wing, and a save on Stastny by Talbot.
What a save by Talbot, moving to his right. Pietrangelo must have felt like by the time he settled that puck down, the defenseman and the goalie were in good position. He tries to go to the weak side, which is a left-hand shot, but the first one was fanned on there by Backus after a nifty play by Steen. And there's the play on the near side, as you can see, the fanned-on play. And you think he's going to fire it on the net. He's trying to catch everyone by surprise. And if you look at Stastny, he's soured. Looks like he soured himself not getting that puck up. And all he could do, though, is shovel it towards the goalie. That's a tough play right there with all the bodies in front. Remember that first save of the game on opening night at Scott Trade that Talbot made on Tarasenko? Just a beauty with his left hand. That was a good one moving in the other direction.
Of course, Talbot was the backup to Henrik Lundqvist. Had to play quite a bit last year when Lundqvist hurt his neck. And the Oilers win the faceoff. Klefbom will rip it down the ice. And 40 gone in the Blues power play. And now Colton Parayko on defense with Bouwmeester. And here's Big Bo to center. Oilers back in. And he plays it around the boards for Laterra. He tried to make a play. Now Brouwer on the wing. It comes in front, but Klefbom is right there for the Oilers, and they kill some more time.
Obviously, Bouwmeester hasn't seen a whole lot of power play time. Shattenkirk being injured, that gives Bouwmeester an opportunity. 85% of his shifts come at even strength for Bouwmeester.
Now Bouwmeester in for Schwartz, looking for his first goal of the year. And he pulls up, and a pass back. Tipped a bit, and it goes by Steen. And the Blues have to backtrack.
Yeah, I think maybe Parayko could yell for that maybe a little harder. He was wide open there on the same side of the ice.
And now Pietrangelo at the line. That's tipped away, and then yelled back down the ice by Mark Letestu. So nothing doing so far on the Blues' initial power play. Here's Steen for Pietrangelo. He gains the red line. In deep it goes. Back as they hit on Greiba. And now Connor McDavid back there for Benoit Pouliot. And here come the Oilers, 2-on-2, short-handed. Pouliot a shot, and that goes just wide right on the ice. And then Steen for the Blues.
Good backside pressure there with 4 forwards on the ice and 1 defenseman for Pietrangelo.
And Hall is back to Blues, 2 shots on the power play.
And Tarasenko had to really come back hard to the middle and get going and get in an extra gear to nullify an odd man break. So good defensive awareness there by Vladdy Tarasenko. Slowed it down and were able to set the puck up.
Tarasenko has points in his first 3 games. Blues win the faceoff. Here comes Parayko to the net. In front of Laterra. The shot, and that goes just wide. What a setup by Parayko. And the Oilers to center ice. And Fane. He winds it in deep. And now Yashkin trying to make a play up the wing. That's cut off. Gunnarsson back of the goal. And now Parayko again. But Fane pinches down for the Oilers. As the Oilers activate their defense. Here's Hall setting up back to the goal. Under some heat there from Parayko. And then Hall in there as well. Now Upshaw shoots it around the other side. Klefbom at the line. And he'll tip it deep again. And now for Nugent Hopkins. And again, a battle behind the goal. Oilers get it in front. And a shot by Nugent Hopkins. I think was blocked at the defense.
What a pass by Taylor Hall. Small area, quick pass right there. Nugent Hopkins, I thought he got a stick on that.
And now a long stretch pass. That was tipped away by Upshaw. Blues go back and get it. Elliott up the wing. Steen was knocked down. And Letestu holds it in for Edmonton. And now back to the goal. Slepyshev and Pietrangelo bump shoulders. And the puck to center ice for Steen. He's rocked hard by Schwartz. And now the Oilers get it. Slepyshev again. In on the wing. A high drive by Letestu. Fought off by Elliott. And kept in by the Oilers. Slepyshev a drive. And that was turned away by the Blues goaltender. Now Letestu with 12:22 to go in the second in a 1-1 game. Oilers attacking. Reinhardt a shot. That's off traffic in front. And now Tarasenko takes a hit but gets it up for Steen. And then trying to hit Tarasenko. His pass in front for Stastny. And that goes just wide. Here's Pietrangelo back on the goal. And he looks for the wraparound. It comes to Schwartz. And a shot on goal. That's hit by Talbot.
Well, tonight's cold hard facts are brought to you by Clean, Crisp, Pure, Light. And there is the young stud on the blue line, Colton Parayko, born in St. Albert, first rookie defenseman, game-winning goal this season on +3 rating. boy, did they hound young Colton Parayko when he was 5'9", 5'10". He was playing midget AA, then playing in the Alberta Junior Hockey League with Fort McMurray, and they're just hoping that no one else was watching the same player they were. And ends up that they really were sending an urgent message to the Blues. And this is the guy that they want. They got their guy, and look what he's turned out to be.
Yeah, they got him in the third round, and again, Blues are a little bit coy. They didn't want to scout him too much, as they were fearful that it could tip off other organizations. I guess the Maple Leafs were somewhat interested in Colton Parayko.
You know, Marshall would say to JD and Doug Armstrong, look, we're not going to go to that game. All the scouts are going to be there. So I'm going to drive 5, 6, 7 hours. I'm going to go watch that game and that game and that game. And Doug Armstrong, the general manager and president, looks on here in Edmonton. And so I'll play it like we're not that interested in it, but I'm going to go watch him. And obviously they coveted Colton Parayko, and they got Colton Parayko. But who would have thought he could turn out to be a 6'5", 225, smooth skating, good hockey sense, terrific young man. I mean, well brought up. I mean, credit to Tom and Karen, because he stands up and shakes your hand when he sees you.
It looks in your eye and smiles.
In your eye. The entire training staff is just in love with this guy. He's got good manners. He's a respectful kid. It's wonderful to see.
So some sleuth-like scouting by the Blues lands Colton Parayko. Now it's Edmonton back of the goal. He was checked. Oilers try to center. It's off the skate of Elliott and under his right pad.
And see the way Edmonton Oilers are going to the blue paint? You know, they're a much more tenacious group, and that's a fourth-line example right there. In our first game, we saw Todd McClellan have Slepishov on the first line, but Slep. Old Sleppy. Number 42.
That would be Slepishov.
Now we've moved to the fourth line with a couple of real bunkers and grinders right there, but they've had a good game so far.
Here's a drive on goal, and a good save by Elliott on the stick. And first goal was shot, and a hooking minor, I think, on the Blues.
That's going to be on Colton Parayko. That'll be his second minor penalty so far. He's nice to have a conversation with Billy Sullivan, the veteran referee. 2 minutes quick. On the right side, he just right here. Nothing going on. He lifted his stick at the timing of the puck going there. That was the right play. Maybe the stick slid up there around the elbows after that. That's it. But the first play was a good. I mean, you got to lift the guy's stick, otherwise you're going to get a tip in on your net. You have no choice.
It's a tough call on the rookie. Gunnarsson went off in the opening period. A year ago, Gunnarsson amazingly had 1 minor all year. So he's matched that. Oilers 0 for 1 in the power play. Now played back to the Blues goal. As 4 players come together, and they feed it out high for Schultz. Broken up by Ott. Good play. Short pass to Bolmeister, and he hammers it down the ice.
4 forwards on the ice on this power play unit again with McDavid and Schultz manning the back part of it with Nugent Hopkins.
Oilers 1 for 10 on the year. Last year they were just about 18%. It comes in front. Elliott makes the save, and he knocks the rebound away from Nugent Hopkins. And shot by Brouwer, and then he chops Nugent Hopkins in the leg for good measure.
Yeah. He gets his money worth on every shift.
Yakupov with his great speed. He'll drop it off, and that was intercepted by Schwartz. It goes out of play, and there will be a face-off in the blue zone.
Well, when Yakupov gains speed like that, he ran out of real estate. That's good smart playing by the St. Louis Blues. David Backus again getting lots of time on the penalty kill. He and Brouwer have just become a real good, solid, reliable, hard to play against. Big body, beef on the bun, tandem. But Yakupov gains his own with speed, and then he drops it off to the defenseman that's right there, 2 feet from him, and he put them both in kind of a little bit of trouble there.
Now personal for the Oilers, 45 to go on the power play. In the slot, Lander can't get a shot. Sekera will. That's off a shin pad in front. Now for Yakupov. And the young Russian surveys the situation. A high drive. Hits glass, comes to center. That won't make the like that and miss everything. Now Purcell back on the line. That's blocked. And then scooped away by Brazia.
The thing is, you have to have a real heck of a shot to be able to score from outside there on a wrister like that against NHL goalies. That's not going in on too many guys.
Maybe number 10, Guy Lafleur could score, but not number 10, Yakupov.
Yeah, and we've seen some great shots from the outside in the NHL this year to score goals on the rush. But by and large, it's on the rush, where you've got speed and it's a 3-on-2, and the center lane drive with a weak side forward, and you're rifling high over the goalie. But not when you're in a stationary position like that. And I'm sure that's what, I don't know exactly what Todd's saying to him, but he's giving him some encouragement while at the same time saying, settle it down. There's a lot more options than just you taking a wrister from there. And if you're going to take a wrister, you better darn well hit the net.
And the Blues have now pulled it off. No shots against on that second power play. And that's a 19 call. Well, Kevin Chatter's bobblehead night is coming up on Thursday, October 29th. The Blues take on the Ducks. The first of 4 great bobblehead nights this year. As they're running for 12,500. Jack bobblehead. Visit more details and tickets.
We have one in the building, but what we're going to do is we're going to show it to the fans tomorrow night in Vancouver, because we've got a different broadcast position where our camera's right there, and so we'll see it. It's good. It's a good one.
Yeah, we'll debut it tomorrow night. Now the Blues attacking. Here's Pietrangelo, Tarasenko on the backhand, and a save by Talbot. Now he centers it, fired wide. Schwartz back to a wide open Bouwmeester, and then for Tarasenko, turns and fires it, and that's fought off by Talbot. And the Oilers take over, and here they come to center ice. Nugent Hopkins now for Hall. In the slot to Schultz. Right on goal, and a save by Elliott. And the Blues clear the rebound to center ice.
Really good save there by Elliott. But I like the desire shown by Vladimir Tarasenko on that first part of that power play. Oh, not a power play, 5-on-5, excuse me.
Long pass.
Looked like a power play.
Hendricks. It did. And the play continues. Now Bouwmeester with it. With 8 to play in this scoreless second period. Korpikoski has scored for the Oilers. Laterra for the Blues. Now Upshaw. He gets it in deep. Behind the goal for the big captain, David Backes. And a short pass to Yashkin. And now Backes again. Puts it in front. And a shot by Upshaw. Tricky play. That goes wide. And Upshaw's pass picked out by Purcell. He goes up the middle to himself. But Elliott will swat it away. And then Bertuzzo, a big hit on the far side. On the Finn Korpikoski. And now the Oilers get it back. Lander to the line. Here's Greiba. He is wide open. And that was a pass, I think. Goes to the corner. Taken by Lander again. On the cycle, but no one is home on the left point. And the Oilers have to go back.
Still a heck of a shift, though. Really good shift in small areas of the ice for the Edmonton Oilers right there.
And then Yakupov at the line. He was belted by Yashkin. Chopped that by Bertuzzo. And now taken by Tarasenko.
Nice little stutter step to wait.
Now Parayko up the middle. Here's Tarasenko in the clear shot, and that goes wide. An Oiler hounded it from behind and prevented that shot from going on goal.
Yeah, that was Pouliot, and still Tarasenko, he just wouldn't go away. Stuck with it. He's on a mission here in the second period.
And now McDavid a shot. That was blocked. And then Gunnarsson goes down. And it's cross-checked in minor.
It looks like it was Gunnarsson that tied him up. But on second look, Tarasenko gets the cross-check.
And the Oilers on their third power play. 0 for 2 tonight. Schultz on the line now, McDavid. And then Schultz again. Here's McDavid in the circle. And a shot blocked by Pietrangelo. And then played by Brazia off the glass to center. He was there with Ott. But that was broken up, where the Blues would have had a 3-on-1, and now the Oilers guilty of a hand pass.
Well, you can see with all the young skill that the Edmonton Oilers have, from Schultz on the right point to McDavid on the right hash mark as a left-hand shot. And it's always nice to see Captain Canada, Ryan Smith, one of the great Oilers, number 94, as he came out to a standing, rousing ovation
HA uniforms tonight, the orange uniforms, will wear them 7 times tonight.
That's why Al Hamilton, former the first captain of the Oilers, he dropped the ceremonial first puck.
So they'll wear them 7 times this season in their final year at Rexall on this power play. Now it is Hall for Schultz.
I like them.
To Hall, wide open, blocked by Gunnarsson. And then Schultz again. Backus is around him, now in for Hall. Pass in front. Pinballs around off the goal post. It is still loose. That was close. And the Oilers with 55 to go on the power play. McDavid in front of Hall. And he goes back to the goal. McDavid and Hall play catch. The Schultz. The shot. And a save by Elliott. And no further play.
Good save. David Backus comes reeling in there after McDavid was snooping around trying to help out. And Backus comes in and now ties him and drags him out of the puddle right there. But boy, McDavid and Hall behind the net. Little tic-tac-toe play. This one hit the post right here on the backhander. Just trickled maybe. Good left-hand save there on the second attempt. And then the little give and go behind there. Hall received it from McDavid. The shot from the point. And watch McDavid come in. Now watch Backus. Whoop. Get out of there.
But as you said earlier, you've got to do a great job of clearing bodies, protecting your goaltenders, and sending a message.
Look, don't pretend like nothing's happening. Hey, go in there with some sense and help out. Whenever your team is an odd man against your team, and even if not, it's even make sure it's odd man. Make sure you get in there. You don't have to fight. You just have to get in there.
Oilers on the power play. They've fed back the line. And Sekera, pounded by Steen, who might have gone to the locker room earlier. We're not sure. We had some reports he did, but quite obviously he is back. Now the puck in the corner for Trangelo. Knocks it away from the whale clear. Then Yakupov recovers. Plays it back to the cage again. Trangelo. Now down low. Stastny there quickly, and a good backhand clear by Paul Stastny. And 15 to go in Tarasenko's minor. Here comes Oscar Klefbom. And then drilled in by Purcell. And that goes on the dash. You're now to the corner. Ott there. Tarasenko is back. And the Oilers 0 for 3, and they had 3 shots. Tarasenko was loose in the Edmonton zone. But a good job by Klefbom to break that up. Now the Blues get it back. Schwartz wide open a shot. And Hall blocked it. And that goes out of play. Wide open is blocked. Thank you very much. Face off in the Oilers zone. Schwartz steps in. Schwartz played a lot of center in preseason, so he's pretty good in the face-off circle. Blues get it off the wall. Here's Tarasenko, and didn't get a lot of mustard on the shot, and that was stopped by Talbot.
This just keeps Tarasenko on the ice on an offensive zone face-off. But let's flash back to Wayne Gretzky in the first goal that he scored in what? His 3rd NHL game, October 14th, 1979. And look at that celebration. Boy, did we get used to that. He scored 893 more goals after that. Totaled 894. That one was against Glenn Hanlon, the goaltender for the Vancouver Canucks.
Former Blues goaltender. And the Blues win the face-off. Tarasenko, he scores with a rocket. And the Blues take a 2-1 lead. That shot was a laser by Tarasenko.
The STL line back together on the offensive zone face-off, and that took no time whatsoever. Just a snipe by Tarasenko. As Ken Hitchcock, for the first time, has broken up the line of Stastny, Steen, and Tarasenko. Tarasenko, watch him at the top of the circles. Quick little pass there by Bouwmeester. Bouwmeester was stationed down low. Tarasenko up high top of the circles, and it rolls off the end of his blade like you read about. Hard to pick that up from the goaltender's point of view. And boy, does he have Cam Talbot's number.
Yeah, he had a great goal last year in New York against Talbot. He makes it 2-1. The goal at 16:01, his 3rd of the year. Now Stastny comes in. He'll play it back to Pietrangelo. Pass tipped by Brouwer, and that was off a shin pad in front. And now it's Stastny and Steen working the corner. Oilers with it. Nugent-Hopkins out of the zone. Then fired back in by Bouwmeester. Tarasenko gets the goal from Bouwmeester and Laterra.
Yep, Laterra, it's a set play on the dot. Your left defenseman goes down by the hash marks. Laterra, the left-hand shot, plays it towards him. And if executed like it was just executed, it ends up that way. At least it ends up with a glorious shot on goal. But this one ends up in the net.
Now the Blues play it in deep. Puck on the wall. Backus cuts it off. Great pass back for Parayko. And the rookie fires it. Hit traffic. Rebound for Upshaw. Right on goal. And a save by Talbot. And now for Gunnarsson.
Yeah, the Blues can do themselves a favor and start rifling pucks towards the net, putting a lot of pressure on this Edmonton Oilers defense. That was their goal early in the game.
Now Parayko to Backus. And at the line, good support there by Yashkin. But now it trickles to center ice. With 2.5 to play here in the second. The Blues leading for the first time. That's kicked back of the goal by Yashkin. And the Oilers throw it high, glove down, but now collected by Purcell. To the Parayko corner. Tipped along now for Tarasenko. Look out Yashkin, he goes by Yakupov. And rolls it back to the Oiler net. And then Pouliot over there will get it and shoot it down the ice.
Yeah, on that play by Yashkin, he might as well fire that in real hard. Because you know your far side defenseman's up there at the right point instead of a soft little dump like that where it's easy for the Edmonton Oilers defenseman to get to.
Now the Blues tic-tac-toe through center. Schwartz comes in for Laterra. And the Oilers intercept and back to center ice it goes. That's drilled around by Edmondson. As the Blues are making a change here on the fly. Oilers follow suit with their Taylor Hall line.
Also, and one little change in the combinations there, taking Tarasenko away from Stastny and Steen, has paid off for the Blues.
And now the puck trickles to center. Blues get back. Bouwmeester. And he had Ott open. That goes over his stick. He races after it. And Reinhart up the boards, and this comes to center ice. Oh, and now Bouwmeester.
Boy, Petrangelo ever take a almost pretty late hit there by Hendricks, although it was a clean hit.
And now, speaking of hits, there's a hit by Reeves. In the final minute of the second period. Reinhart around for Hall. And he coughs it up. Petrangelo in there. Along with Ott. Back to a wide open Reeves. Now for Bouwmeester. He winds up a shot. Blocked. Reeves with it. And then Petrangelo again. Shovels it back to the goal. Blues trying to make a change here. Steen is on the ice. Now Steen back to the goal, but he can't get there in time. And Gryba for the Oilers. Under pressure. They can't clear it. And lobbed in by Bouwmeester and caught by Talbot.
Well, that gives us an opportunity for Kia in the driver's seat. And the highest face-off win percentage this season. Well, the St. Louis Blues are strong down the middle, aren't they? And if need be, Troy Brouwer takes face-offs as well, and he's strong on the dot, and there's the win. Jori Laterra wins it to his left. Bouwmeester pushes it back on a set play, and Tarasenko makes no mistake.
And Todd McClellan talked about just that issue this morning. Getting support off face-offs. And the Blues did there, and it led to a goal. And Parayko a shot. Rebound. Oh, Stastny had a wide open goal. Couldn't get it back on net. And now Parayko again. Out high, Tarasenko. And a shot tipped. And ends up on the corner. And time will run out here in the second period. So a late flurry by the Blues and a late goal by Tarasenko is the difference. As the Blues outshot the Oilers 10-7 in that middle frame. The go-ahead goal by Tarasenko at 16:01, and after 40, the Blues lead 2-1. Infinity game summary. The Blues leading 2-1 after two. The shots are dead even at 17 apiece, as are the scoring chances. Laterra and Tarasenko, the goal scorers for the Blues.
Well, it's Tarasenko here. And there was a moment in that second period where it looked like he was tired and fed up with what was
assists.
Yeah.
And the Blues leading 2-1.
Pretty good numbers,
I would say. Blues are 1-0 when leading after 2. The Oilers are 0-1 when trailing. Now the puck played by Steen. On to center ice, Stastny. Then is broken up. Puck bomb had his pocket picked by Tarasenko. He works in. And a hard shot and a rocket goes wide. And the Oilers play up to the block by Tarasenko. Again a shot. And that goes high and wide. He's all over the ice. You can only hope to contain him. And now the Oilers take over in Taylor Hall. And now Nugent Hopkins to center ice. That goes around the boards.
The interesting part is he's trying to go high to the glove side on Talbot. I did a little research on Talbot, and that's not an area that he gives up a whole lot of goals. It's the 5-hole that he's given up the most amount of goals, at least last year anyway.
I think Talbot has seen enough of Tarasenko.
Yeah, and that's where Tarasenko scored in the opener, actually, on that quick release breakaway at Scott trade in Game 1 through the legs.
Now the Oilers with it. Bain broken up at the line by Laterra. And the crafty Finn feeds it in, but that is an offside.
Well, we mentioned Cam Talbot. Last year, as a member of the New York Rangers, this is Tarasenko at his best. You want 20,000 fans at the world's most famous building picking up their jaw? That's what happened with that brilliant individual effort. Hello, hockey world. And then Cam Talbot saw him again in Game 1, and instead of waiting and making the deke on Talbot, he tried to surprise him by just rifling that right between the legs. And here he has two chances of Tarasenko trying to go high over the glove, and he missed the net on both those opportunities. So maybe he's just trying to keep honest.
Exactly.
You know, he's got the one-handed deke, he's got between the legs, and he's having a little fun trying to go high to the glove side as well. Maybe he wants a little water bottle knocker right there under the bar and in. Flips it around, Steen, puck bomb, got the puck, quick release. It gets through Schultz, but it goes over the glove. It happened twice in a row.
And a shot by Edmonton caught. You know, Roddy's dad, Andre, has never seen him play here in North America. Of course, he coaches in the KHL with Receiver. And Roddy said, if we make it to the second round, Andre will come along with his 15-year-old brother.
Andre said was a really skilled player as well, playing over 20 years of pro. Real skill. So when he asked Tarasenko who he learned from or who he watched, he said, my dad. I watch clips of my dad. The respect he has for his father and his grandfather is just immense.
Number 2 zone. Lobs it back to the goal. Here's Upshaw there for the Blues. And the puck stripped by the Blues again. Now Upshaw on the backhand. Gets it for Yashkin. And he is tied up in knots by Reinhart, the 21-year-old defenseman. Son of former NHLer Paul Reinhart. Now Griffin gets it away.
But Paul was a good player, wasn't
Was he ever?
And number 23 for the Calgary Flames, he was good.
Power forward. Now the Blues off the boards. Backus, speaking of power forwards, he was rocked.
Mike Babcock would say, he's a good player.
That's a pretty good imitation. Now Ott comes in. And that's an offside.
Behind him, didn't he? He looked behind him. He thought it stuck underneath his pads, and that's to me, that's a smart play. You look behind you, see if it's behind you. You know, and not an unsure play. I mean, obviously you don't know where it is, but make sure you look, because if it's there, you can at least capture it at some point. It looked like Gunnar should have his hands on that a little bit, and that's why Talbot was kind of raising his body upwards, and it went underneath.
How about the Canadians? They win tonight.
Yeah.
Over the Rangers. They're 5-0 for the first time in their 106-year history. The first time they're 5-0. That's amazing to me.
Me too. Absolutely amazing. And, you know, when they won their first 4 games, that had been done 3 times prior. The previous 3 times they won the Stanley Cup.
So you're going to say that they're in the Cup this year?
Well, I'd say that with a goalie like Carey Price, you've got a chance. He's
shot. Stastny was in a battle there, and I think he was ill, and we got a
Spain has been aggressive in this game. But here on this run, you can see his hand reaches out, and he clearly goes around and got both hands around Alexander Steen. Fairly easy call to make, and the Bernie producer says the Blues penalty killing is good in this game. Now they got a chance on the power play to maybe put a little distance between them and the Oilers.
They're 0 for 1 tonight. Tarasenko, and a pass across. Good stick in the lane there by Hendricks. And then it goes to Tarasenko again. And he drops it off, but a blind pass picked off by Letestu. And he rips it down the ice. Elliott sets it up. Played by Pietrangelo, not a Steen. And at center ice, it is Stastny into Backus. He can't get loose. Puck rolls around. And Stastny again back of the goal. Backus in some traffic. And away from the traffic. Now back to the line. Tarasenko off the boards. Pietrangelo. Wide open Steen. Lines up and fires it wide. And then Pietrangelo again. 45 gone to the power play. To Tarasenko. Wrist shot blocked. And now Steen off the skates. Here's Backus to Steen. And that was intercepted there. Good play by the Oilers. And they do clear it to center ice. But not very far. Tarasenko back in the zone. Drop pass Pietrangelo. In for Steen. In front. And they score! Stastny, I believe, tipped it in. And the Blues a power play goal.
Broken down plays all over the ice. But the good hands of the St. Louis Blues players were able to keep pucks in. And you talk about a little persistency right there. Stastny ends up banging it home. Good for Stastny to get in front of that net. Usually it's obviously big David Backus is there. And you can see that Steen is looking one way back towards Pietrangelo, but then he plays it over towards Stastny, and it just goes beyond Tarasenko's stick, right on Stastny's stick, and he's strong on, he's old school strong on his twig right there, and he redirects it into the net. An outstanding play when you consider how many times that was broken, and it looked like Edmonton was going to clear the zone, but they just couldn't get it out.
And that is the Blues' third power play goal this year. The first power play goal against the Oilers this season. And it's 3-1. Stastny gets the goal. That's his first of the year. And that's a big goal to make it 3-1. Now Schwartz a shot. That's blocked by Klefbom. And then Laterra. Shoulder to shoulder against Klefbom. Steen and Pietrangelo got the assist on the goal. As the Oilers thought they had that cleared, but it was out or near the line and stayed in. And it goes in the net. And again, the Oilers fail to clear. Now they do, and here comes McDavid, 3-on-2. Kerpuliak, and across, and a one-timer, and a glove save by Elliott on Yakupov.
Oilers strong up the defensive by Edmonton. Good one-timer by Yakupov. I like the win by Elliott. One of the few times that Elliott has had to lose this period, Edmonton's got to have full-on urgency right here. They've got to be throwing everything but the kitchen sink out towards the goaltenders. If you look at our Plaza Tire Service scoring summary, Stastny's first goal of the year, Steen and Pietrangelo with the helpers.
And the Blues win the faceoff. And they get the puck to center ice. Here is Brodziak, an original draft choice of the Oilers. Reaves a shot. That goes wide.
And then Edmonton boys got us home here in the offseason.
Now Greiber to center ice. And then Nugent Hopkins is in there, but that's an offside.
Well, you're going to score goals that way. You've got to drive to the net, and this is our Moz to drive to the net. Just a bunch of broken down plays, but they stay with it. And a really neat little play there by Steen. Looked like he was going to go back to Pietrangelo. He doesn't. And that is our Moz to drive to the net. Stick on the ice. The defenseman in that play. Driver's on the outside of it. And, no one's got basically the passing lane taken care of right there.
Stastny had 16 goals last year, including a career high 7 game winners. And he has staked the Blues to a 3-1 lead. As Backus works hard against Lander. Now for Upshaw. And then Yashkin. Blues are in Vancouver tomorrow night as they continue on this 6-game road trip. And again, the Blues get it right back in. The Blues have played a lot more hockey in the Oilers' end of the rink in this third period, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, they turned it up a notch, haven't they?
Now the Blues
A bit of a theme this year.
There's Backus again in Yashkin, and they get it right back. Those big bodies. Centering feed intended for Pietrangelo, and that's off a stick and out the other way.
But even then, Korpikoski thinks he's got it out of the zone. There's Pietrangelo right in his face. Aggressive, on his toes, keeping the puck in.
And then Bouwmeester drifts in. That pass blocked. Oilers jam it up the boards. Here comes Hall. He flies in. And a shot and a glove save by Elliott. And he won't take any chances with Nugent. Big power play. Thank you, Scott. It's a while. They're off to a very good start. 2-0 to begin play tonight. Arizona, a bit of a surprise in the early going, winning their first 3 games. Here's 3-1 to the Blues. Face off 1. Now in front, they score! Hall! And it's 3-2 as Taylor Hall stole it.
And this place erupts. Good individual effort by Taylor Hall. He had a good scoring chance prior to that when he tried to rifle it past the glove side, but Brian Elliott made the save. This one here off the faceoff. Watch him on the far right side. What a quick stick he has there. Colton Greco just got robbed by the quick hand-eye coordination there, right between the legs, and then the backhander as Elliott tries the premature poke check right there. And as he's going out to reach, Taylor Hall is already pushing that puck over the blocker side. What an individual effort by Hall.
He had 14 goals last year. We're on 27 2 years ago, and that's a huge goal to cut the lead to 1. Now the Blues quickly into the zone, 2-on-1. Here's Steen. Had Tarasenko open, but his pass blocked.
Yeah, Nugent Hopkins got him right on the hands. This was going to pass that, it looked like.
And a shot from Steen, again blocked. So again, it's ironic. Off a face-off, the Blues won the draw, but Hall stole it. So 2 goals off face-offs tonight. Now Bouwmeester, that shot. And an easy save for Talbot. Saw it all the way.
Well, the play there for Bouwmeester is to keep going to the wall and then feed it to the middle of the ice where Tarasenko would come backwards for the high shot.
And now the Oilers with Matt Hendricks to center ice. And a bouncer, tricky one for Elliott, who defers to Pietrangelo. Hall gets the goal unassisted. That's 6:37. And Laterra. And that wobbler it on goal. Here's Greiba. He was hit there by Brouwer. Puck in front. Now back for Tuzo. That shot wide. And then it's twisting and turning. Jaden Schwartz. Schwartz again. With a nice move. Brouwer. And then Bertuzzo, a fluttering shot. And that's blocked by
Really good pressure right there by the Brouwer, Schwartz, and Laterra line. Bertuzzo's shot is stopped by Talbot. But the play that Taylor Hall had just before that with his great speed outside, trying to go to the kind of against the grain like that, trying to get the goalie off his angle, and then he scores the goal by fighting off 2 guys, Gunnarsson and Parayko.
Hall had a team leading 14 shots in the first 3 games. Blues, they win the face-off, but it was dropped unfairly. Again, the defending team must put their stick down first. Now the Tesco will get tossed, so Hall will take it against Backus. And the Oilers win the draw. Ashkin hounding Mark Crane from behind, and Hall tips it away and then loses his stick. He wanted a penalty, but the referees let it go. And the Blues captain Backus, he goes wide and to the net, but that was broken up in the last second. Second number 2 there for Edmonton. Here's Hall getting loose, and he now Schultz.
That's one of the keys early on in the season. Every line needs to establish their own identity. Don't try to be something you're not. And I think we're seeing that here in this third period.
As the Oilers at center, Kopitarski, that was broken up, and it goes over the boards. That Blues hit.
Always an interesting situation for Ken Hitchcock and the coaching staff. Back-to-back nights. This is the first of 12 back-to-backs at Vancouver tomorrow night. And whether or not a guy like Scotty Gomez and the fresh legs of the 35-year-old two-time Stanley Cup champion gets in or not. But there are some options there. I think it's good to see Robert Bortuzzo come in and have a strong game.
Bortuzzo played over 10.5 minutes through 2 periods. Here is Edmonton.
That's 2 big redwood trees on the blue line. Bortuzzo 6'4", and Edmonton 6'4".
And Edmonton has lost his stick. It's up the boards, and now he kicks it. And the puck is tipped away, and it goes back to center ice. Here the Oilers regrouping. Nugent Hopkins, Edmonton lost his balance to the front, and a great save by Elliott. As Edmonton got cracked a bit as he lost his balance. Now cupped on a shot, blocked. Another shot, that was wide. Penalty coming up here. It's against the Blues.
It's against Bortuzzo with pressure on the Blues. Bortuzzo's arguing his battle with Taylor Hall. It looks to me like Bortuzzo's telling that it was Hall that held him first. A lot of times the referees, they don't see the first part of it. They see the second part. And Bortuzzo, I think, has a pretty good argument on this. But at the bottom, you can see the battle behind him. He's boxed out. Really, it's be hard to tell. And the referee's got a way different angle right there. But one thing for sure is with the helmet falling off the noggin there of Taylor Hall and the fact that he ended up down and the puck wasn't anywhere near him, the referee gave the offensive player the benefit there.
Oilers 0 for 3 with the power play. Down by a goal. Lander wins the faceoff. Now back for Sekera. And then for Putball. Steve Ott on him. Good play by Ott. Now a hit for Wozniak. And he kills some time. Oilers get it back. Yakupov. As he swings wide. Lander back to the goal. And then Bomeister takes a good angle. Puck off the line. But kept in by Sekera. And now the Oilers get set up. Putball a shot. And that got through and a save by Elliott. And then they throw Lander out of the goal-free series.
You know what? I like the way Jay Bomeister got aggressive right there. I like Jay's game here the last 2 games and get it the heck out of that blue paint like that. And that's good defending. You're not going to stop every shot that goes away. That's what your goaltender's there for. Lander's in real good position right there. But then once he's in there, the whistle's gone. The goalie's got it. Get out of there.
And now the Oilers send out their number 1 power play, Nugent Hopkins, Hall, McDavid, Pouliot, and Schultz.
Overloading the right side, as you can see there with Hall and McDavid.
Oilers control the faceoff. Stastny wins it. Oilers have a 3-on-2 led by Steen. Steen carries in, and he breaks his stick.
What a shame.
And goes to the bench. And Stastny sends it all the way back for Gunnarsson. And he'll whip it in.
Last year, Alexander Steen scored 15 goals, 11.5% of his on slap shots, amongst the leaders in the NHL. Hard to take a slapper when you're quick.
And it doesn't work so well, does it? Now the Oilers keep it in there. Here's McDavid. Gunnarsson gets it away and swatted down the ice by Captain David Backes. 45 left in Bortuzzo's minor. And Justin Schultz, who was signed after a great career in Wisconsin, a highly sought-after free agent. Yakupov drills it in. Bomeister up the boards, Laterra. And a good clear again by the Blues.
Good communication there. Just a small, short pass there from Bomeister, who's tied up with his man. And Laterra likely communicating that he was wide open.
Got bomb down the boards, and again, Bomeister over there with his long reach. And then again, the Blues kill some time. And some of the sellout crowd a little bit upset with the home team.
Two pretty good defensemen right there. Bomeister and Petrangelo guarding in the front.
And the Blues are back at full strength. The Oilers had 2 shots on that power play and are now 0 for 4. And the Blues take over Laterra. He goes back to the near corner for Parayko. Hit by Tarasenko, out of danger. And Schwartz trying to steal it from Greiba. And again on Greiba. Good job by Greiba. And now walked along by Korpikoski. He scored the game's first goal. Tarasenko off the glass and out. Korpikoski and Hall for the Oilers. Stastny, Tarasenko, and Laterra have scored for the Blues.
Another good aggressive play by Bolmeister there on Korpikoski in the one-on-one.
And now it comes to Upshaw. That his first goal as a Blue the other night. In the slot. And the rookie Slepyshev, who was not playing a lot tonight, gets it out. And Oilers down at a tripping ball.
Well, there has to be no worse feeling. Being alone in the penalty box. 3-2 game on the road. 7.5 left to go in the game. He's just trying to hack and whack and slice and dice, but he ends up taking the skate out from underneath Korpikoski. He's aggressive. He's tenacious. He just got caught there with the stick blade just on the skate plate. Just barely. Knock him down. He was looking for stick on stick, but he got stick on blade.
And the Oilers on their 5th power play tonight. Nothing for 4. And another huge yell here for the Blues. Back is against Nugent Hopkins. Dropped unfairly. Last week the Blues penalty kill 7th best. The Oilers on the power play last season. 19th in the league. He must get his stick down first. Nugent Hopkins wins it back to Schultz. And he walks the line for Hall. A shot blocked by Bolmeister. And then Hall again. Blocked again by Bolmeister. And now Taylor Hall to the line to Schultz. And then back for Hall. He's knocked down from behind by Backus.
That's a little overpowering body by Backus right there.
And then the puck at the line. Now Brouwer stole it. And he's got a break. Nugent Hopkins trying to get a breakaway. Brouwer! And he was caught from behind by Nugent Hopkins.
What an effort by the guy they called a Nuge. Great effort right there.
It did not take a penalty. Now Nugent Hopkins again. In for McDavid. To Nugent Hopkins. Broke his stick. And the Blues cleared around the boards and down the ice.
Boy, fine line there for Nugent Hopkins, but when he's behind like that, and I think he caught Brouwer by surprise. I think Brouwer thought he was in all alone, and Nugent Hopkins never stopped moving his skates.
52 seconds left. And up Charles Minor. Puck bomb. And then Oct breaks it up. And he kicks the puck the other way, and then he kicks Puck bomb to the ice.
Well, he felt like he was interfered with first by Clefbaum, so he likely got a freebie there.
And it comes around Steen. He jams at it. Puck jams to the corner. Edmonton. Up the middle. Now to Steen. 1-on-1. Working on Sekera. And Steen will rag the puck in behind the Oiler goal, killing some time. Under 20 to go in the power play. At center. Stastny stripped Purcell of the puck. Great job by Paul Stastny. Neil Yakupov for the Oilers. He does a 360. Passes to nobody. And then Schwartz is run to the wall. Upshaw was back. Edmonton 0 for 5 tonight. No shots on that power play. Huge kill by the Blues.
And again, that's the kind of moment there for David Backus to take control. Even though he lost the face-off to begin the penalty kill, he goes out to the point, he drills Schultz, he gets the puck out, he just does the little things. He puts a little fear in the puck area because he's not just his body. He has a chance to go through. He's going to do just that. And here's the Backus hit right there that led to Brouwer being all alone. He's got time to do the top. Big play there. All right, so I wasn't sure if he, how he got him like that, but he did a great job.
Throws it around. But Tarasenko goes off on a line change.
Well, Hitchcock got Tarasenko out on the ice because of the penalty kill. Get those fresh offensive-minded legs. And quite often, Tarasenko does get on the ice following a penalty kill situation just to see if he can catch the other team off guard a little bit.
Now Taylor Hall. He motors back to the goal. Colmeister, he's played a strong game on defense. Goes to center ice.
Really encouraging. I think his last 2 games have been excellent.
And now the Blues reorganizing at center ice. 4.5 to play in regulation. And then Colmeister, rink wide feed. Stastny has some speed. 3-on-2. Drop pass to Steen. And a shot up high. Fought off by Talbot. And it's back to the goal now. Then the Blues get it back. Stastny to Steen. And a great save with the left toe by Talbot. Point blank save. And now Connor McDavid at his own line. For Nugent Hopkins. Cuts to the middle. And Edmonton on the back check takes over for the Blues.
Yeah, Edmonton was in deep, and then Tarasenko identified that, so he became the defenseman. I'm not sure about Vladdy's backwards skating just yet. He goes forward pretty quick.
And now J.D. Schwartz. 3 Oilers back. He goes wide. Schwartz. Backhand feed. In the area of Tarasenko, but it rolled over his stick. And this play continues here with 3.5 to play.
How many times have we seen that execution by Stastny and Steen? And Steen gets that little wrister right between the legs, or using Stastny as a screen after Stastny had dropped it to him.
Now it's fired ahead by Upshaw. Not out, though. Lander working down low. Now the Oilers with it. Now they cough it up. And on his knee, Schwartz will ship it away. And Reinhardt may have broken his stick there. Fanned on it. And the puck is settled by Pietrangelo. Long stretch pass for Upshaw. And he makes the smart veteran play to get it deep. Reinhardt hit there by Backus. And now personal. Good feed. Goes to nobody. Throws back in by Parayko. They have gone without a whistle for a good 3 or 4 minutes here.
And you see what Todd McClellan does and how he communicates to his goaltenders.
2.5 to go. The Oilers to center. Purcell. And a shot. Easy save there for Elliott. And then Stastny ahead for Brouwer. Nice play. On to Steen with Parayko. Ahead to Parayko. Talbot trying to clear it. Knocked down a drive. Oh, that was blocked as Brouwer let it go. Now to Steen. He scores! Steen into the top corner. And it's 4-2.
Just too much for this young Oilers squad. That is a tremendous play and a brilliant shot. High over the glove, under the bar and in for his 2nd goal of the year. He has a slapper, half slapper right there. What a left-hand save by Cam Talbot, but they keep it going. You can see Talbot went to play the puck out, and then the Blues keep it going, and oh, they're just a perfect pass. Just a perfect pass from Brouwer. Boy, we've seen some nice plays from Troy Brouwer. Offensively, sees the ice, goes to the front of it, does all the little stuff, but man, that was a nice play.
He has 2 assists tonight. And of course entered the game with a couple of goals and 3 points. And that's a huge goal by Steen, his 2nd at 17:51. And it's 4-2. Brouwer gets the lone assist. Now Segler with it. I think they're going to pull Talbot here. Yeah. And now they do, as he heads off. Empty net Edmonton. That is fired in by Sekera. Don't forget Missouri Lottery. Blues Live is next. Oilers get it down low, and for McDavid, pass across. And shot just wide, I think, by Hall. And out of the corner again for Connor McDavid. Backus ahead on the wing for Ott. And then Backus. And he shoots it toward the empty net, but it won't go all the way. With 70 seconds left here. 6 attackers, Edmonton. And Hall. Next shot was blocked by Pietrangelo. Kicked at, now a drive. A hot drive on goal by Yakupov. Oilers get it again back of the goal. Yakupov fans on it. And then Backus at the empty net. And his 195-foot shot is wide by 10 feet.
Well, time now with 46 seconds left in this hockey game. Stay on your feet. Laterra. Right there. Has to use balance. And a brilliant
toward the net, and again it goes well wide of the goal. I think it's a good play when you're up by 2 to take 5 shots at the empty net. That's my view. I'm with you all the way. Yeah, no problem. If you're up by 1, it's a risk. Last time I looked, the Blues were the best face-off team in the National Hockey League. Go to my strength on that income. If you're the weakest team in the NHL, well, maybe that changes your philosophy. Even up 2. And the Blues control the face-off, but a penalty call. It's a high stick.
Young Edmonton Oilers Club, one of the raucous crowd to begin this game, and high expectations. That stick comes up clearly on Dave Oldman. Helmet and tries to Oldman to flip back. Really no bearing on the outcome of this hockey game. It's over.
Chris Lee and Kelly Sullivan have done a very good job tonight. Keeping things in order. Blues on the power play.
Hall of Famer Bill McCreary on hand as the supervisor tonight. Nice to see Bill. Boy, did he ref a whole bunch of huge games.
Here's a wide open Laterra. Pass in front. Ryback getting back to break it up. And with 10 seconds left, the Blues are going to win their second in a row. Pareko was hit from behind by Hendricks. And he'll get a penalty here, but more than that, the Blues are a little bit upset with Hendricks.
Pareko's facing the boards. Looks like Pareko's trying to go to his right, but it's going to be a dangerous play. Tarasenko comes to his aid and gives him a tap on the head. Well, the good news is that Pareko took a good angle. You see, he was already angled on a turn, not going straight into the board. But it's a prospect too close to the board. He can always be a dangerous player right there. Potential. Oilers scarves, sweaters, and everything. Got an orange scarf tonight. Look like hockey socks, huh? They really do. And that's the color of the original jersey of the World Hockey Association. Where they made this unbelievable trade with the Indianapolis Pacers to get number 99. Nelson Skelbania. And then they got an NHL franchise. 99 turned out to be a really good player.
That was money well invested. And that's going to do it. And the Blues win it 4